Good afternoon, everyone. Just a quick video and a few mail items. As you can see, the Yazoos are lined up on the table. A few other radios down on the end that we're going to be going through here soon. Also, waiting on parts for the Yazoo. Already started on the video for the $10 101, and that video was going to cover going through the receiver. So we'll be getting on that before long and getting another episode of that going, and we'll work our way through these Yazoos and get these things all up and running. If you remember a while back, we did a basically a cosmetic restore on our ICO 315 single generator. Well, I went ahead and I got the caps in. So we'll be doing a video on recapping that and doing an alignment to it. The unit works great, but you know, when I restored did the cosmetic restore, I did not recap the unit yet because it was working so flawless. So I'm finding myself working on this quite a bit, or using it quite a bit. So I might as well go ahead and get it up to today's standard and get that going. But I got a few mail items I just wanted to share with you, and we'll take a look at them now. Our first package comes from Charles in Orlando, Florida. Let's see what Charles has sent in. Orlando, Florida is south of here. About 11-hour drive. Got a note. Buddy, enjoy watching your videos. Keep up the great work. Accept this gift of a B&K 177 vacuum tube voltmeter. Burnt wafer switch used for parts or repair. Charles from Florida. Alright, I do have a B&K 177 on the other bench. Nice to have another one to match it. Okay. And here it is, B&K model 177. This is, you know, Dynascan Corporation, and these are very good working meters. I always like the way these meters work. See, this has the ground lug has been put under the bottom of it. Goes from 0.5 volts all the way up to 1400 volts, and R1s up to R1s times 1 meg. And you have your 0 and ohms. Goes into off position for transit. We use peak to peak or RMS minus DC volts plus DC volts and ohms. On the back of the meter we have adjustment parts for DC calibration, AC calibration, and the 0.5 volt calibration. We'll just open it up right quick and take a look inside. And to open it up, you just remove the 2 screws, and this back cover comes right off. Looks like somebody's already been into it with the power cords on the inside. And there's a bag with the knobs in it, and some screws and standoffs. So apparently something's been took apart inside here. Okay, I'll open up, took out the case, and just looking at it, I'm already seeing where the problem is. It's not in the range switch, like it's over here in the selector switch. I can see, and I think you can too in the camera, that the burnt smut down the side of the meter face. So that means that this wafer switch is the one that has blown, and someone has already took it loose. And looking in there, you can already see there's some contacts that are blowed up in there, no longer touching the board. This should be fairly simple to refix. I do have a box full of assorted wafers and these little finger stops, and even centers for various different types of wafer switches. I bought a guy out years ago that had bukus of this stuff, so yeah, we should be able to fix this. I don't see no problem why we can't get it going. We'll have to do that for a future video. And one thing about restoring these, you know, it's basically changing out the couple of caps that's in it and checking all the precision resistors, clean the switches, and we'll replace this one, and check our one tube. And I can't remember what the tube is. It's a 12AU7 tube in this unit. Sometimes it's good to look at the camera to see what it's pointing at, isn't it? Anyway, there's your tube there. Sorry about that. Anyway, thank you, Charles. I think we'll be able to work through this no problem. Like I say, I've rebuilt mine probably twice since I've had it, and it still keeps on going. It's good meters. Thank you very much. And next up is from Paul in Rhode Island. Now, I already knew that this one was being sent in. Paul was kind enough to email me, and he's restoring a Yaesu radio, and saw my videos and asked me if I would like to have this unit, and I said sure. So we'll open it up and see what we got. Got a little note, buddy, here is the ICO vacuum tube voltmeter as promised. Don't have the pros, but I imagine you can come up with something. Enjoy, Paul. Alright, thank you, Paul. Oh, packed it very well. You can always tell when a ham radio operator packs something. They pack it so it don't get damaged. Let me go ahead and cut the plastic off. Okay, we got most of the plastic off. Just got one more sheet to pull out. And check this puppy out. Now that is beautiful. What we have here is an ICO model 232 vacuum tube voltmeter. Now Paul, you know, like I told, Paul said that he had this and he was going to send it to me. He doesn't know if it works or not, so this will be a nice addition to restore. And what I'm planning on doing is I heard Mr. Paul with Mr. Carson's lab had mentioned about putting together an old repair station to work on old radios and use it through it. I kind of want to do the same thing, but what I'm going to do is use all ICO stuff. Now I got a ICO vacuum tube voltmeter. You saw my ICO single generator, and up here in the corner is an ICO model 460 oscilloscope. So a few more pieces of ICO I want to look for and get. I'd like to have an ICO audio generator and a few more pieces of equipment. Well, I brought the unit up on the Variac and connected a probe to it, and I tried to adjust the ohm scales and I cannot get it to adjust. And what you do, you know, you adjust it here, shorten the leads, and adjust it over here for 0, and cannot get a lot of response out of the ohms adjust. And you see it only moves just a little bit in the downward side. So there's probably some resistors and a few capacitors that need to be replaced inside of it. I've got it into the DC ohms scale, I mean the DC 15 volt scale, and measuring 12 volts. And it looks like we're just a little over 12. So the DC voltage is working. Go up to 50 volts. And we're looking just about close enough. So yeah, not a bad little meter. Probably just going to need, you know, a few switch cleaning and check all the resistors, replace the capacitor. I think it'd be good to go. Thank you very much, Paul. And to get inside of it, you just remove the 2 screws, and you should be able to pull the unit right out of the cabinet. Okay, and as you can look in here, this thing is extremely clean. I mean, even the cabinet is just in beautiful shape. Even inside, the original label is still in there, and the paint is just good. I mean, even the leather handle is just in wonderful shape, and I almost would think that was a production made handle, but you can never be sure. Looking at the main unit, I mean, it's just completely clean. So now we know why the ohm scale did not work. It requires a D-sized battery, and the good thing is the battery has been removed. A lot of times these things get set up and people will leave the battery in it, and the battery will start corroding over time, and you know, and that just ruins the whole inside of it. We have a 6CG7 tube. And I see 3 electrolytic capacitors in here that will probably need to be replaced. But I mean, this thing is just in beautiful shape. I mean, it really looks good for its age. You can see even the contact on the wafer switch shows no sign of tarnishing or corrosion. Very, very, very clean. Again, thank you very much, Paul. This will be a nice addition to the collection. Well, I'll get some footage of that repair on that ICO vacuum tube voltmeter. This item is actually came in from repair and belongs to Bill over in Maryland, and he wanted to get it upgraded. This is a Cobra 2000 CB radio, and I told him if he would go ahead and get the capacitor upgrade kit, that I would go ahead and do it for him. Bill was a ham radio operator, but he likes his old radios, and so do I. I like these radios. Now, one thing I failed to do when I told him, I failed to tell him who to buy his capacitor kit from. And why is that important? A capacitor kit is a capacitor kit, right? Not really. Now, why is that? These radios have a lot of 10 volt capacitors in it, and they get what's called the 10 volt blues. 10 volt capacitors are a little bit underrated for what needs to be in these radios, and if you go in and replace it back with 10 volt capacitors again, it's going to fail again. You know, what we do is most of the time when we recap a radio like this, any 10 volt capacitor gets upgraded to a 25 volt capacitor. There's also some capacitors in here that are known to be incorrect value for the circuit, and the values need to be changed, and this comes from years and years of experience to know how to do that. Some of the other capacitor providers on eBay already know this, and they include the upgraded capacitors along with a diagram and chart showing you where these capacitors need to be. Now I went straight to eBay and typed in capacitor kit for Cobra 2000, and the first one that comes up shows the capacitor kit. So just for the Cobra 2000, and it even has a chart showing you where these capacitors are located, you know, and which ones to replace. And I mean, the kit's only $24.95 in shipping. You know, someone's already took the time to do this and sort all the capacitors out for you and got the right capacitors in there. And you know, it's almost hard to stock stuff like this when you can go straight on eBay and get it. And this seller is Klondike Mike. He also has a YouTube channel, and he's a good friend of mine too. So you know, you can't beat that. Now I will say that the capacitors that were supplied are Nichicon, but the problem with them is they're 85 degrees C. You know, we'd rather put 105 degrees C back in. So you know, there's things to look for when you're doing a recap job on an old radio like this. You don't want to put the exact same capacitors back in there, especially those 10 volt capacitors. But right off, I know Bill gave me a list of what's wrong with the radio and what needs to be done to it. A little bit off, frequency counter's not correct, in line with the clarifier. But he told me that the meters did not work. And as you can see, both meters are stuck up. Now a lot of times we can fix these instead of having to replace them. And Mike at Mike's Radio Repair did do a video not long ago on how to repair these meters. Now there's another problem in this radio that I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me turn the lights off and see if you can see it. Okay, I'm just letting the camera look at the radio and see if y'all see anything. Now you can see the clock LEDs is on and the power button is out, so the radio is in the off position. But does something catch your eye? Look right here at the channel display. You can see the LEDs are glowing. Now why is that? Well, there's several things that cause this in this radio. First of all, when you turn the power switch off on this radio, you're not cutting the AC off. You're only interrupting the DC component going to the radio. Everything else is still on. This keeps the clock circuit working. And you know, the clock circuit also doubles as a frequency counter for the radio. But yep, radio's off, and you can still see it reading 20 for channel 20. Now, we have found several things in the past that caused this problem. One of them is on the frequency counter board, there's two small transistors, and they send a signal out to the board. Sometimes those transistors will go leaky, and that can cause the display to light up. Another problem is the way that the power switch cuts the unit off and on, and it links by. Nomad Radio here came up with a fix for that in the past that I've seen a while back, so we might look at both of those areas and give this thing a good a recap with the correct capacitor. Now, we use a lot of these that's in here, but the 10 volt caps, I'm not going to use them. I'll go ahead and supply my own caps and put in here. Here's a nice little thing that I saw that Bill did. Put on here for Buddy, the radio shop. Repair instructions. Cobra 2000 GTL, 1983 Taiwan model. And Bill has given specific instructions of what he's found, you know, that the radio's doing. It's always good when a customer will send in information like this when you're repairing a piece of equipment. Takes a lot of the guesswork out. Yeah, we do find other things that's wrong, you know, like the channel LED coming in, but it's real good that customers will take time to do this. You know, I don't take a whole lot of mail order repairs in due to my work schedule, but I think I'm gonna start doing a few more and more. You know, I get quite a bit of ham radio equipment in. I don't get a whole lot of CD equipment in to be repaired, but we might upgrade that a little bit. You know, I got a lot of equipment myself that I work on from time to time, but some of this, I've said before, you know, learning electronics, especially if you're a ham operator and you want to learn electronics, stuff like this Cobra 2000, getting in, learning it, learning how it works, paves your way for working on higher rigs like your Kenwoods, ICOMs, Yaesus. You know, it helps pave the way to learn RF electronics. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the short little video. I want to thank those that have sent the gifts in. Appreciate everybody that sends stuff in, and we'll be getting more videos to come soon. Back on our Yaesu 101, I hope to get another episode of the 101 up probably this coming weekend. Depends on how workload at the public job is. So I'd like to hear your comments down below. I'll give a link to Klondike Mike down below also, and we'll catch you next time. Take care now.